In this video, I would like to go over examples for calculating the mean for an ungrouped and for a grouped frequency table. Okay, in our first example, first two examples, we will look at calculating the mean for an ungrouped frequency table, as you can see right here, ungrouped. Okay, so what do I mean by ungrouped? Well, we had a set of data, okay, or scores in this case. Okay, so I'm looking here, scores, single digit numbers, okay, frequencies are listed right beside them. So essentially what I'm saying to you is that I have 1 0, because I could actually recreate the data from an ungrouped table. So I can see that I have 1 0, I have 2 1s, I have 6 2s, 4, 5, 6, I have 12 3s. Okay, yeah, I don't know who did that. Nice example. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 3 4s, and I have 1 5. Okay, so that's actually my original data set. Okay, so it is possible to rewrite that from an ungrouped table. Okay, so then if I want to calculate the mean, like you've learned in a previous lesson, you could take the sum of all these numbers and then do division by, I think there's 25 numbers in this data set, and that would give you the average. Okay, but in some cases, you're not going to want to recreate this data set, so we need another way to handle that. So instead of us going through here and adding up the values, if you go through here, like the top of this third column, wants you to do an F times X, and that F got a little funky when it came in here, but that's what we want to do. So if you go through here and do F times X, okay, so like here you'd have 0, and then a 2, 12, 36, 12, and 5, okay, and then take the sum of these numbers here, okay, if you add that up, you would get 67. That's the same thing if I went over here and I found the sum of these numbers, it would also be 67, okay, so same thing. Now, the other thing I didn't fill in, if you add up your frequency here, there are in fact 25 numbers represented. If you count it over here, you would find that n is also 25, okay? So then to calculate the mean, we're gonna just take 67 divided by 25, okay? That comes out to be about 2.68. And then according to the rounding rule up here, round the mean to one more decimal place than what your data is, okay? So our data this time, the data's here, everything's a whole number, so we want to round this to tenths place. So we're going to say this is 2.7, that's your X bar or your average, okay? So if I were to fill in here your formula for average from an ungrouped, we're working with the sum of F times X, okay, so that was the third column, divide by N. That's the formula for mean of ungrouped, okay? You'll want to add that to your formula sheet. Formula sheet add-on, okay? All right, let's take a look at a second example. Okay, so it says find the mean, and again it says for ungrouped frequency table. So again, it's ungrouped because the data here, just single digits. Okay, no intervals, no limits, no boundaries, just single digits. Okay, so we'll go through here, kind of like the blue today. We're going to multiply the F times the X. So 0 times 2 is a 0. 1 times 6 is 6. 2 times 12, 24, 15, and 12. Okay, so there's our multiply. We're going to add, okay, to get the N. Total frequency on this problem should come out to be 28. Okay, so now we need the sum of F times X. So we want to add this column up. Okay, and if you add up, you should get 57. Okay, so then to calculate the mean, we're going to do again the sum of F times X divided by N. So 57 divided by 28 that comes out to be about 2.03. So we would use our approximation symbol and say that's approximately 2. And that's the value of x bar, okay, the mean. Okay, so again, those were ungrouped frequency tables, okay? So now the second part of this video is going to talk to us about a grouped frequency table, okay? So grouped frequency table, okay? So grouped is because over here, you're going to have either limits or boundaries, okay? So for this one, oh, I don't know, let's try green, okay? What I would typically have you do is to find the midpoint of the class because we need to have an estimate for the data. We cannot recreate the data in a group table like we did up here where I showed you that we recreated. That doesn't happen when you have a group. Okay, so to use an estimate, okay, we're going to use midpoints for x values. All right, so remembering midpoint, you're going to add the class, divide by 2. In this case, it comes out to be an 8. Okay, if you remember to find the width coming down through here, going down the column, the width on this one's 5. So you can fill that midpoint column, just add 5 going down. So we can do that quickly. And I know you've been doing this for a little while, so you'll remember. Then from there, it'll feel familiar because now we're going to take and do f times xm. Okay, so it's these two columns here. So in filling that out, 1 times 8 is 8. And then we're going to have a 26, 54, 115. And again, I'm just multiplying across here, and 76. Okay. All right, so we need to add up 2 columns now. Okay, 2 columns we need the sum of. We need the sum of the frequency. We need the sum of f times m. We will not ever add the midpoints. That doesn't have any value to us whatsoever. Okay? All right, so when I sum the frequency, I get 20. That's your n value. When I sum f times xm, you get 490. Okay, so then to calculate, my symbols are a little off here. Okay, we're going to do f times xm divided by n. And I kind of left off, but f times xm, xm is just up here. That's a symbol for midpoint. Okay, so we'll do 490 divided by 20. Comes up 24.5. Nothing to round there. Because we're in boundaries, the decimal place will always match the boundary number. Okay, so that's going to be your value for x bar in this example. Okay, formula sheet moment, I would go ahead and put x bar is the sum of f times xm divided by n. That is absolutely okay to put on your formula sheet. Okay, if you'd like to stop the video for a minute and try this last one on your own, that would be fine. I'm going to fill it in, so you can pause or not, up to you. All right, so again, this one says find the mean. Okay, and we notice here that we have a grouped frequency table. So first thing to do, find the midpoint. Okay, this one's a little different because you've got decimals, but again, you're going to add the class, divide by 2. So this one comes up with a starting of 2.4. If you calculate the width over here, scoot that over a little bit, width comes out to be 0.7. And then we're just going to add that down to fill the midpoints. So 3.1, 3.8, 4.5, 5.2, and 5.9. Okay, then you're going to multiply across frequency times midpoint. You're going to fill in that last column. Okay, and then guess who didn't fill their column before they started their notes? That's awesome. So let's do that quick. 5 times 2.4 gives you 12. 7 times 3.1, 21.7. 12 times 3.8, 45.6. 14 times 4.5, 63. 16 times 5.2. I apologize, I should have had this in. I just added it and didn't write them in. 8 times 5.9. So we're kind of like in class. All right, so then we need to get two sums so we can have some fun because we're almost done. We need the sum of the FXM column and the sum of the frequency. Okay, so in doing so, the sum of the frequency, 62. The sum of FXM is 272.7. So then to calculate the mean, we're going to do the sum of FXM divided by n. So 272.7 divided by 62 is approximately 4.398. So again, in matching the position of our data, this is going to be approximately 4.4. And that's your X bar. Okay, hope that's helpful, and hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.